Good morning, Monstercast. This is not a test, and this is also not rock and roll. This is a Monstruck podcast, and we are your hostess with the mostest, Mason Paul and Cameron Miguez. If you tuned in to actually with our last episode of Smoothcast 98.7, we were just live with Stephen Thompson, and we mentioned we're going to be having none other than Derick Anson on this weekend. Cam, how was your weekend in Bolivar, Missouri, though?
Okay, for one, you got to change that. We're the host with the most. We're not hostesses. That's girls, bud.
I'm sorry. I was having like a Twinkie earlier, and I remembered the hostess Twinkies, and I kind of messed up. But I reformed on saying the F-bomb on the podcast. I've been watching a lot of anger management tutorials and other stuff. So we've been working through it. It's been good.
Well, the problem's going to be the FCC fine once that comes in, but that's all right. You can afford it. But no, we had a great weekend this weekend. We were in Bolivar, Missouri. Austin Mittens and Bounty Hunter won wheelies. Dave Ulfert and Kamikaze won racing. And then we decided to end the show with a dual freestyle with Kamikaze and Bounty Hunter, who just burned it down. So we gave them both the win for freestyle. Crowd loved it, kicked ass. Warm day, but good show, went well. Had a good crowd and called it a success. And now off to Van Buren, Arkansas this weekend to Crawford County Speedway for same 4 trucks. So now everybody kind of got a rhythm and knows what everybody's going to do. So it ought to be a great show this weekend. But I know we had Bloomsburg this weekend. You heard anything about how that went?
It went by pretty well from the videos I've been seeing. Cody tore it down, and Fast Metal and everybody else really brought their A game that weekend. Really awesome seeing all those freestyles and the Bog Hog, Ace in the Hole, and King Sling. They were there. It was cool seeing that. In Indianapolis, Indianapolis, right? That was where Jim just was, right? With Waters and Fuller.
Yeah, Evansville, Indiana.
Evansville. Close. But I watched a lot of footage from that weekend. There was drone footage and a bunch of fans sending in videos as well. Everybody about did a backflip that weekend. Jim, I think he was the only one that did it consecutive, though, which was pretty cool to see. Lots of carnage. It was an awesome show otherwise.
Yeah, so I think it was a good show. I gotta do an apology, though. So Friday night we went live from the racetrack in Bolivar, just kind of showing off the trucks, talking to the guys, hanging out in the pits. I was not aware. Well, I shouldn't say I wasn't aware. I didn't think about the fact that the guys out west, Monster Truck Outlaws of the West podcast, were on at the same time. So I want to shoot a quick apology out to them for overlapping them. I didn't intend to. I was just a brain fart. We were just trying to do something kind of cool from the track. So if I do that from Van Buren this weekend, which I intend to, I'm going to try and make sure I can do it at a better time. It does not interfere with those guys. They had Dawson Reyes on. So if you guys flipped over to watch us, check their podcast out, help them kids out. They're trying. But anyway, I would say quit the jibber jabber and bring on our guest, Mr. Derick Anson. What do you say?
I agree with that. All right.
Mr. Derick Anson, man.
What's going on, Cameron? How you doing, buddy?
Oh, just living the dream.
Same here.
So I guess start this out the way we normally do. How's quarantine lockdown 2020 been for the Anson clan?
Well, we stopped on my girlfriend's truck since all this has happened, and actually, I've been working on a funny car right now. Do some nostalgia funny car racing here while I'm off, I guess, because I'm bored.
So what does that entail?
I don't know. You know what a funny car is, man? You just point it and shoot, I guess. Hold it to the floor and go. Try to go 250, 300 mile an hour, whatever, and just have a good time, really.
Now, is this something you did before monster trucks, or is this just something new you're wanting to try just because you're bored?
No, I've drag raced my whole life. My dad was a drag racer. I had a drag car. I used to drive back and forth to school when I was 16. So I've raced everything there is to race, I guess, in my life. And it's just always been, what I like to do. So sold my dragster and figured that I'd do something different. Actually, I thought that I was going to put my girlfriend in it. And then she decides that after watching some YouTube videos of all of them going sideways and all of them catching on fire, she says, "You're trying to kill me. I ain't driving that thing." So I guess she'd be backing me up. Now I push the gas,
Well, before we get into the monster truck life of Derick Anson, we have a segment on here with a young man by the name of Christopher Allen and the Allen family who comes on with our fun fact of the week about our guests. So, Mason, let's see what Christopher Allen has to say about Derick Anson.
Hi, Monster Truck fans. This is Christopher Allen, your Monster Truck guru, coming back for another episode of Monster Truck Fact of the Week. This edition is about the man behind heavy hitter Derick Anson. After crewing for various teams and a one-off driving stint for Rob French, Derick debuted what became his signature identity, heavy hitter, in 2010. Derick spent the next several years building out himself and his truck as perennial contenders for the win, especially in racing events. In 2013, Derick introduced the world to his first teammate truck, River Rat, complete with 66-inch tall white wall tires. 4 years later, the second and most recent teammate showed up, the old school themed Basher. And finally, in 2019, Heavy Hitter and River Rat were rebodied into Demo Derby and V8 Bomber for Hot Wheels Monster Trucks Live Tour, which has become very popular as it sweeps the nation in small arenas. Derick and Heavy Hitter have made 2 consecutive appearances at the World Finals Young Gun Shootout, 2014 and 15 to be precise. In the latter's case, Derick defeated Brianna Mahan filling in for Medusa and BJ Johnson and Mohawk Warrior to get to the semifinals of the bracket before being defeated by Colt Stevens and the now defunct New Earth Authority. And that does it for another episode of Monster Truck Fact of the Week, folks. Please like Monster Truckin' with Jim and Chris on Facebook and Instagram for loads of awesome Monster Truck Show coverage from around the West. Please like this page for new episodes, and remember, Monster Trucks forever!
Well, damn, I think he covered the whole career. We really don't have nothing else to talk about, do we?
Yeah. All right. I'll see y'all later.
All right. So let's go back. Let's go back to 2010. I mean, where you said that's when you built your truck, but what made you decide to get into the monster truck business?
To be honest with you, the first time I ever drove a truck, I was actually putting a set of cylinder heads together for Gary Cook and the Equalizer truck. He come in the Jim Line shop in Louisville, and Jim, my dad's been friends for years, and I was there every day, and Jim was also a drag racer besides a pull truck guy, but he built engines for everything. So I was putting a set of cylinder heads together, and Gary come in to pick them up, and he said that John Moore broke his neck and needed a driver. So I was 19 years old. My daughter was just born 2 weeks earlier, and off I went for a weekend and drove the No Problem Bronco for John.
Holy, hang on, stop right there. You got to drive No Problem?
Yeah.
Holy hell. So that is very well known on this podcast. That is my favorite all-time truck.
No crap.
I never knew.
Hey, go get that picture right around the door right there to the left. Yeah, I'm going to show you a picture, man. It's cool. Only picture I have left because I didn't get half my stuff from my divorce. So this is the only picture I have left of me in this truck. So
I got to get close so I can see the damn thing. So now I got to look goofy on the camera.
Huh? Here you go.
Dude,
Check it out.
wow.
19 years old.
Dude, yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't mean to interrupt your story, but I mean, of all the years I've known you, I never knew that. So now all of a sudden, I actually like you.
Damn, right on.
All right, so you got to go drive no problem, which is awesome.
Right.
So, all right, now you can continue. I'm done fanboying you.
Right. So it was at a pool truck event. It was just a car crash exhibition with me and Dave Resort's nightlife truck. And I remember John was at one end of the arena, and he was going to give me thumbs up if I needed to hit the throttle harder when I hit the cars. And then he wanted a thumbs down if he wanted me to not hit it so hard. And then, the straight fist bump, if it was great. Well, I hit these cars wide open, man. And I'm going to tell you, couldn't hit it no harder, from where I was at, whatever. And I thought I run my head into a wall. I didn't know what happened. I remember that I forgot my helmet. So I had to wear one of his chili bowl helmets, had his plastic shield on the front of it. And all I remember is that shield blowing off and hit me back in the face. I'm like, what the heck just happened, man? So needless to say, I hit the cars. I never could see John. So I made my right-hand turn and hit the other set of cars, and I hit it even harder, man. I took off spinning tires, and I don't know how I even got the thing stopped, to be honest with you. But, man, it was a blast, man. I got done and parked it, and I asked him how I did, and he was freaking out. That thing ain't never done that, and but anyway, yeah, that's where I started, really. I just was eat up with motorsports my whole life, from motocross to you name it. I've done it all, I guess. And I just wanted it was just really, I guess, the monster trucks is the only thing that you could do that would pay for itself once you spend a bunch of money building it. If you built a drag car or drag bike or circuit track car, I race figure eight. I've spent a bunch of money on everything racing, and you never get no return, or you don't unless you win. So it's all about going and spending more money after you build the crap, and then tearing it up and wrecking it and whatever else you do, and then go back to work and work on it, go do it again. It just didn't make sense. So I knew one day that I'd build a own monster truck and go do it, and then I just decided to do it. So that's how I started.
Well, what a lot of people may not know is heavy hitter. You were actually a boxer at one time, weren't you?
Yeah. When I was younger, I trained for a long time. But I never did nothing crazy. I never traveled the world or, went pro or nothing. We did some Golden Glove when I was young. But it was, more or less, I did more training than fighting.
So, all right. So take us back. So you decided to go build your first truck, and you go out and you start doing shows. Did it go like you thought it was going to, or was it, wow, this ain't as easy as I thought? Is this harder than I thought, or how did it go starting out?
Well, my first show was an outdoor show I done in 2010 at a place. I was in Ohio. I can't remember exactly where I was at, but I won racing. I think there was 6 trucks there, and I won racing first night, won racing the second night, and I thought, well, gosh, this ain't, it's pretty much, it didn't seem like, it's very competitive, you know what I mean? But then you start running bigger shows and run against better trucks and whatever, so on, it's like, dang, these things are, very competitive, very, a lot of them run real well, and but I've always stuck to the rules, and my blower 10% and running 871, and if somebody beats me and they're turning their blower harder or run different blowers than me, they should beat me. One thing about my truck is it's kind of screwed up. A lot of people don't know is like I run petty bones in a reverse rotation. So my third members are pointed down like they should be and would come out of, say, of a bus. But since the reverse rotation, I'm running on the back side of the gear. So I've always had to lift when I shift my truck. If I don't, it immediately breaks a ring pinion. So, and I just got so tired of changing them, man. Anymore, it's a show, man. It's just, you want to have fun, and I don't care. I don't really want to work on them no more. I don't care to work on them to keep them going, but to make them faster and just to tear up more stuff, that just was not in my cup of tea, I guess.
Well, now, so you decided to build a second truck. I mean,
right.
was that financial, or you just wanted to build a team? I mean, you already had a pretty good name for yourself.
Well, I met Stevie. He was building his own truck, to be honest with you. And I didn't even know him. And I had my truck done before I met Stevie. But he went and crewed for me my first show indoors, 2011 there. And I told him, if he stuck with me through this I had 9 shows booked 9 weeks in a row, and I was just going to be gone. And I told him, I said, I tell you, man, if you go with me and crew for me, I'll pay you to crew for me. Then when we get home, I'll start buying parts, and then we'll build a brand new truck, and it'll be yours to drive. And so that's what we did. We started on it and all. And then, he ended up right before we finished the truck, I guess 3-4 weeks before. We still had work to do, but I had a show coming up for, 2 trucks, the first show in Texas there. And he needed, he just, I don't know what the deal was. He just needed time to do whatever, so on, whatever. And he got him a new girlfriend, and he just told me that, he didn't know if he's going to be able to do it. It would be all right with him to find another driver. And so I was like, okay, man, if that's what you want, and then I just had to find whoever I could find, at that time. And I found a guy, so anyway, that's how that happened. But when I went to Monster Jam in 2014 there, I guess 2013, I won that championship with Monster X there. And 2014, I told Stevie, man, I got to have you. We're going to Monster Jam, dude, and so Stevie come back, and I'm glad to have him back, man. He does a great job, so thankful to have him.
All right, so you bring up Monster Jam 2014, and according to Christopher's clip, 2014, 2015, you went to the Monster Jam World Finals playing racing in Young Guns. How much pressure was that? I mean, you were fast. I mean, I remember watching you years ago. You've always been fast. Do you think you could hang with everybody? Do you have any doubt you could win it? What was your mindset going into that first year?
All right, so the first year, 2014, I had that all aluminum motor in the truck, and I ended up wrecking it. It made too much power, honestly. I couldn't use it. Spinning the tires, and I was trying to be smooth with it. I ended up crashing in the chicane anyway. But I learned a lot. So the next year when I come back, I knew I was going to be fast. I put a lot smaller cubic inch motor in it also. And I ended up, I guess they started that rule. You couldn't be over 3/4 of an inch or whatever it was. And
right.
My plan was to run my river rat tires. I had 1 inch, full cleated tires on the truck, and then they wouldn't let me run them. They told me, no, you can't run them. And I had to put them old ball tires on my truck, and literally you couldn't go nowhere. My turns, my ET was terrible. My mile an hour, I never we had to make some practice passes, and then we had to qualify, and I never ran it hard till first round. And that was the best pass I made, which she red lighted, or she would have beat me. I think I went a 1760 or whatever, 40 or whatever it was. But then I was like, okay, now I got to learn to drive this thing because I ain't even run it hard yet. Well, the thing of it was, I couldn't make a turn. And then the farther I went, because she red lighted, then BJ crashed because I was down at the turn before him, which if he'd have just used his cool, he would have beat me easy because I couldn't turn it, which nobody knew that. I just wouldn't say nothing. It was just pushing so bad because those tires were so bald. And the speed you had, I didn't realize at that time that you needed Brakemans on it instead of Wildwoods. And
right.
So, in the semifinals there, when I got beat, I literally had brake fade. Is when I launched the truck, I could feel it. As soon as I got up on the converter to take off, it felt like it was getting ready to move. And obviously, I didn't red light or whatever, but I just was being smooth and let out of a half track because I didn't want to end up in the middle of wherever, who knows where, And I just went ahead and did my thing. But it would have been cool to. I would love to made it back there once again. If they were still doing that, but I would like to have done it in my Basher truck because that thing's fast. It's a whole different world of a truck than what that old thing that I drive.
Well, let's talk about the differences. I mean, you built that truck 3 or 4 years ago, right?
Yeah. The difference in it, the 4-link bars and all is the same length. Everything's the same on that truck, other than the engine set so low, and that truck runs a power glide, and I've always run a 3-speed in the one I drive. but if once I build me a new one, as soon as we get my girlfriend's done, I want to build me a new chassis and all, and I'm going to build it just like the chassis of Basher, but I'm going to put a 3-speed in that also. So
now, so a lot of people may not know that you build everything yourself. I mean, your chassis are all Derick Anson chassis. You don't buy from CRD or Patrick or anybody. Is that? Well, go ahead.
Well, no, the Basher chassis, Rich Inman and at Concussion Engineering. That is, I come up with the design what I wanted, and then Butch built the lower cradle, and then I got it home. I had it here for a year or longer, and just didn't have time to do the top half like we did the River Rat, because the River Rat was the same. Rich built the lower cradle stuff, and then Stevie and I built all the top half, shock towers, cage, and all that. But no, Rich ended up. I went back there, and we finished the top half at Rich's. So Concussion did the whole chassis on the Basher truck, and then which I've mounted all the stuff on it, the shock tabs, and he put the 4-link tabs on it, but we put all the shock tabs on it, and I mounted everything in it. So it was kind of crazy. Everybody said, there's no way possible to get a motor that low, but I was determined to do it, and it took me some, figuring out, but I got it done. And I have freestyled that truck 2 times, and it feels like I'm cheating, It's like you're driving a Lamborghini against Volkswagens compared to driving my truck in that one.
Well, now, so let's fast forward. 2019, Hot Wheels Live gives you the call and says, hey, we want you to come run our bodies. What's that experience been like? I mean, they've been killing it in shows here and internationally. I mean, what have they been like to run for?
Oh, man, it's a blast. That's for sure, man. It's a dream come true for sure. I was born in 68, when Hot Wheels was created. So I still collect Hot Wheels, man. I got thousands of them. But, I mean, it just don't get no better than this, honestly. It's all about the kids, anyway. And it's just a good time. It's a good family fun. It makes me smile, which I got 2 grandsons myself, and my girlfriend now is raising her grandson, and he's 5 years old. And it's just crazy, to see little kids, coming out to say our crash zone before the show starts and all, and down there playing Hot Wheels and tracks. I just remember me doing it. That's all I lived for when I was young, playing in the dirt, Hot Wheels and tracks. I remember getting whoopings with Hot Wheel tracks too, but I probably deserved it.
Oh yeah. Well, now, is it any less rewarding being that you don't get to run your own bodies? I mean, you kind of still have your own identity. I mean, because it's a one-off body, it's a Hot Wheel body that people can go buy, but it's not heavy hitter. It's not Basher. It's not what Derick Anson's normally known for. Is that kind of have an upside and a downside, or is it just all good because of the popularity of Hot Wheels?
Actually, it don't matter to me. If it was up to me, I didn't care if anybody knew who was driving a heavy hitter my whole life. I mean, the perfect job in my role would have been what was that black truck that Monster Jam had there? Doomsday. There you go. Yeah, that would have been a perfect job forever. But I just it don't matter. The 124 scale demo derby just come out this past week. It's hit the stores. A lot of fans just send me pictures and whatever. And I was just, it took a long time for them to get my 164th out. But compared to the other trucks. But no, I think it's cool. It don't matter to me. I'm just there to entertain. Once I'm inside my truck, I can't see what's going on the outside or what body's on it anyhow, But I'm a drilling junkie, I guess. I just want to have fun. And I know when I'm having fun in the truck, or make some good hits or saves or whatever you're doing, and you hear the crowd, that's what it's about. Other than that, it seems the same,
Well, so, I mean, we've had a lot of the Monster Jam guys on. We've had a lot of the other guys running for other promoters, but you're the first one we've had from Hot Wheels. So, you talk about the crash zone, the pit party aspect of it, but the shows themselves, let's pimp them a little bit. Like I said, we haven't had anybody on here to really, we did have Dan Patrick who talked about going overseas with them and how much fun that was, but what separates Hot Wheels right now? Like I said, they're growing like crazy. So what is it about their shows that is making people just fall in love with them so quickly?
Well, it's more kid oriented, it's more family oriented to me. It's not say a bunch of 20-year-old or 30-year-old beer drinkers coming to watch people tear up the truck. You know what I mean? They don't want us to tear up our truck. They want us to put on a great, clean show, have fun, entertain. We have the Crushing It Series TV shows. I think the episodes is getting ready to start airing the next 6 here. That's a lot of fun. And we get a lot of great feedback from it, and we're just trying to help, I don't know, maybe some of the stuff that we're doing, it's more kid oriented, maybe it's some I've run for every promoter there is, and there's nothing like running for Mattel, a Mattel body, and running for, the company we're running for. It's just different. We all come in and all of us are together. We all help each other, win, lose, draw, whatever. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares who wins. If you win, you win. If you don't, you don't. It's not you got to beat a truck by 2 trucks or you're going to get called a loser anyway. It's none of that. They don't care. It's all about a show. It's just, it's more laid back, if that makes sense to you.
Well, now, so you talk about the TV show they're going to have, and you're saying the episodes are going to start airing, and I've heard that even the TV show is different. It has different aspects of it. It's not necessarily about the live event, right? It's more about you guys, a lot of behind the scenes stuff like that. I mean, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it is. It's more behind the scenes. It's more about things we're doing with kids and where we go. And it's more about the product, Hot Wheels itself. It is. I mean, I guess I don't know if you've seen the first 6 episodes, whatever, but I went to Victory Junction and with Kyle Petty and all, and in front of a bunch of kids and, drove the truck in, man. It was really awesome. I got to give away, Hot Wheel sunglasses. They all got them a Hot Wheel monster truck. They all got lots of, toys. I basically just went there and delivered toys. I was like Santa Claus, so I wasn't a monster truck driver that day.
Well, so now do you know, I mean, what is the plan for Hot Wheels? I mean, I know everything's up in the air, but do they have plans of firing up this year, or are they holding off right now, just waiting to see what happens?
Well, we have plans to run this year, so we're just waiting to see, what happens, I mean, who knows? And I guess nobody knows anything, around the world, but we plan on doing it. My trucks are ready, I've got one in the trailer now ready to go, and another one's in the shop ready to go. So all I have to do is load it up and fire the semi and take off. So I'm ready.
Well, one of our other aspects on here is, since we're live, we do a lot interactive with fans. We have people comment questions, got questions for you. So, Mason, what do we got from Mr. Derick Anson?
Got quite a few coming in, but let's go ahead and start from the top here with Levi Schoen saying, have you ever thought about teaching your own boxing classes?
No, not at all. I'm 51 and I'm tired. I don't recommend it. You're going to have a big, ugly nose and cauliflower ears one day like I've had. So you're probably better off to stay home and play Hot Wheels.
Shameless plug.
Yep. Continuing on with the questions, though, we have one from a fan called Christian Bialik saying, saw you run at Mount Pleasant in 2015. You had a really great run there. Question, though. How did the Demo Derby and V8 Bomber come to be? Did Hot Wheels just assign them to you, or did you get any say?
No, they was assigned to me. When I was hired, I had no idea what body I was going to be on either truck. It's kind of funny story when I got the V8 Bomber artwork and seen, I was like, oh man, that thing is awesome, and then I got the Demo Derby stuff, and I was like, oh, golly, this thing here, it just kind of threw me. I was like, this not my, what I would have thought by looking at it on paper would even be cool. And then when we started building that truck, man, and they let me, they kept the chassis. I've always have red chassis, but they let me do my chassis black. That in case I ever wanted to run the heavy hitter bodies somewhere, it would still look fine, and they was happy. They was okay with that instead of that green chassis that the toy comes with. when they let me do that, and I remember we started putting that thing together, painting the tires and all that. And, I did some extra stuff on making my shocks and different things look different, and whatever. So on, I thought, golly, this thing is awesome, man. Like whoever designed this they're just awesome, So when we went to Mattel this past year and all, I got to meet the designer. Actually, he come to our show too, but I've talked to him my second time when we went to Mattel, and it's just cool, man, how these guys come up with these things and, sit there and design them on a computer or whatever. It's, it's kind of crazy when you take basically design it on a computer, they put it on paper and email it to me, and then I got to make that thing come to life. And the farther we got into it, man, and actually a friend of mine's here now, Tony Carpenter's been a friend of mine since I've been a kid, probably 8, 9 years old, riding dirt bikes, but and my girlfriend, I've had a lot of help when we started doing these trucks, but man, we started painting them up and doing all this. It was like, actually Tony did the tires, the first time. And it was just cool that, just to see it all coming together. And I couldn't have done it without friends too. It was so much work so quick. We had to do all this in 2 trucks, turn them all the way down and put them all back together, repowder coat the chassis. Basher was complete. It was just a rust bucket, basically it was just a raw metal and I never put anything on it. And I thought it looked cooler, rustier than it did when it was new. But once, we had to take everything down, sandblast and paint everything or powder coat it and all, I didn't think I was going to get done, to be honest with you. And I had a lot of help, a lot of great help. And I remember my girlfriend polishing everything, because the heavy hitter, when I first built it, man, it was all chrome and polished, and that thing was sweet, and she polished every piece of aluminum on that truck. And I thought, man, this is just awesome. We had fun doing it, put it that way. I'm glad we done it.
It's cool. What else you got?
Got one from Chad Leggett saying, do you have a favorite track to run on? And we saw you in Charlotte, and it was awesome. Seems to be a few people commenting the same thing on what your favorite venue to run at was. Also.
Absolutely, Chad. Your answer is that is my favorite racetrack to ever race at. I've been fast there every time I've been there, and I just didn't have the luck. Kind of the last time I was there, I was in the finals. I got over there, I had bad batteries, and they wouldn't bring my jump box over to fire me up. So it was, the track was a mess, I know for sure. But the problem was my truck would only turn 5,200 RPM there, and I was just driving it being smooth. It wouldn't run, and I had the fuel pump end up sending it off. Those pumps pump like 13.4 gallons a minute at 4,000 RPM. And the pump, when I sent it off, have that one checked, it was only like 10.7, and that was my problem with it. But I remember the round before that, Stevie, he had me embarrassed, but he ended up breaking a wheel off, so I'm sure if Stevie would have made a good pass, he would have cleaned our clocks. But it was funny, Stevie was never there, and I told him, when you come out of the high bank and you hit, don't think about ever lifting, because you got to be able to clear, and jump all the way across the track there and all. I said, I've seen guys not even make it or barely make it. And I remember he'd come around that turn, and he said the truck pushed a little bit, and he let out the throttle, and it was just like a big 4-stroke or something. He just eased back on the throttle and jumped all the way down the end of the track. And I was like, golly, that thing's crazy. But, I was actually, to be honest with you, I was lucky that when I first went there, I had my truck geared right. I guessed and geared my truck in the transfer case. It was just a luck deal, and it's easy to drive. You're not, high RPM. You're just being smooth. And then whenever I needed to hit the throttle, though, it was there.
I never got to do that place. I always heard it was cool, though.
Nothing cooler.
Here's one from Michael Keller asking, what is your favorite race or freestyle memory? Hearing that one story, that was pretty cool. But do you have any other ones that are pretty near and dear to your heart?
I would say the freestyle. I did one time I run for that monster truck throwdown, and on the race. Well, let me go back to the race on that. I made it to the finals. I remember Devin landed with the throttle on, and he beat me by a fender, and he tore the third member up. So, because he run petty bones and reverse rotate, same as me, same as my truck was. He changed his since then. His pinions are up now, but in the Barbarian truck. But I ended up coming back and was in the finals against Wichita. And then I remember, man, it was a good race, and he never lifted, and I lifted. I thought, gosh, this is going to be crazy. But I knew if I didn't lift, that it seemed like I was just going to be all out of control, and he wanted it worse than I did, and he ended up winning. He got the extra 2,000 or 3,000, whatever it paid there, and now I look back at it. If I knew I was going to wreck, an hour later in freestyle, after my freestyle run was over, which was the dumbest thing I ever done, but it was cool. Made a good picture and all, I guess. But that I would have just, went for the extra $3,000, you know what I mean, and try to win racing a lot more hungrier than what I was, I guess.
Right.
Got one here from Chris Coe asking, do you feel the big ugly injector hat works better than the Enderley unit that everyone else runs?
So that's the small, big and ugly, has 4 3/8 butterflies on it. So it's the same CFM as the regular bird catcher that everybody runs, but it breaks the air up different. So I run hat and port injection, which, 90% everybody or say Monster Jam trucks, they all run just hat injection. It's they do make, those guys run 540s. They make good power and they run well and all, but it's less tunable. I can make mine make more power legally than they can, if I wanted to, but anymore, it's not really racing. It's a show. But now the injectors that I have that makes more CFM is my Gerardos. They have square doors, which people don't see them because I run air cleaners. Now, if you go to a Hot Wheels Monster Truck live show, we don't run air cleaners in the concrete. There's no dust and dirt really going on in there. So I don't even run them air filters. But I put when I bought that big and ugly, it's really for basher, but the motor set so low and there was no room in there for the radiator that when I put a filter on it, the filter wouldn't go on it because the radiator was in the way. So I ended up having to take my Gerardo off the heavy hitter truck and put it on basher, and I'll put the new big and ugly on mine. But yeah, hands down, it's like I don't know how much more horsepower that it makes, the Gerardo does, but it's a lot. And I could tell a big difference. So I just bought a new one for my girlfriend. We got one engine done for my girlfriend's truck, and we're starting on another one. I just had a Gerardo done for her. So, hopefully she learns to drive it and she's able to use it.
Well, so you keep talking about your girlfriend's truck. So what are we building, and when's it going to be done?
Well, the chassis sitting there. I bought one of them JB Motorsports, I think it was called, chassis from a guy, and then I got it home and I cut it up. New shock towers front and rear. The only thing I really kept the same was the main part of the cage. I mean, I've added a lot of bars. There's no tabs on it nowhere at all. The 4-link tabs was on it, I guess, was the only thing on it. I've had to mount everything. It should already been done, to be honest. But we stopped on it just because it's COVID stuff, not knowing what's going to happen. And so the only thing I like now, I got to mount the seat, I got to mount the shifter and the steering, which I have everything just got to go welded in, and the shock tabs. I've got those made. I just haven't done it yet. I may go to Concussion, take the chassis down to the Riches. Me and him were close, and I may go to his place and we just finish it there and then take it to powder coat from there.
So now, is there plans of this truck and her being in Hot Wheels next year?
So not for sure, don't know. It'd be awesome. But we'll see, not knowing what's going to happen, but hopefully that'll come.
What else you got?
It's actually pretty cool that we were able to go on and talking about your girlfriend's truck, because we had 2 comments in from 2 Chads, Chad Leggett and Chad Burrick, but one that Chad Burrick was just saying is, what's your girlfriend's new truck name? Or are we not allowed to go over that just yet? Make it a surprise.
Well, probably not. Not sure yet.
All good.
They'll make her run Derick's girlfriend. That'll be
there.
The name.
There you go. Yeah.
That
it's crazy. The transmission, everything, every part's done for it. The motor, I've got it on my start stand. That thing's really crazy cool. And then it's all blacked out, man. It's the best looking engine I've ever built. And then we're doing a new one So she's got one that's all murdered out looking, and then the new one is all polished and all purple anodized, and it's fancy. So we're working on it now. The crank rods and pistons getting balanced right now, or the crank's getting balanced. I did the bob weight on the rods and pistons, but getting the crank balanced, and we're going to throw that one together, and it's identical to the black one. It's just going to be more, polished blower instead of a black blower, and it's got a Gerardo on it. It's cool.
Yeah, I think you call it Derick's girlfriend. That way, when this one gets smart and dumps you, you still got the name for the next one.
Oh yeah, she's smiling at you over here. I don't think this one's going nowhere.
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Oh man. Bringing it back with the questions, though, we got one from Michael Keller again asking, if you weren't doing monster trucks, what career pack do you think you would have ended up doing it?
Male stripper.
I've been a roofer, man, my whole life. So I'll put a lot of roofs on in my time, man, and that's how I made my money. So still, do some, but, not like I used to. I'm getting older, and I just don't want to run that hard, actually. But if you're talking about racing, I love drag racing a whole lot, but I love the outlaw figure eight. I've run the 3-hour a couple times up in Indy. They run every year in September. It's the week after they run the U.S. Nationals there. And you're talking, I don't know if you ever looked that up or Googled it or been to that race, but there's no other racing of a car that is that intense or that awesome that you could ever go to in your life. So if you ever got a chance to do that, if you ain't got a monster truck show to go to or Hot Wheels monster truck live show to go to, you need to check that out.
Well, so you talk about all the other racing you've done. How much do you think that prepared you for climbing into a monster truck? I mean, some guys have to come and learn. Some guys come in and it feels natural. You say you went to your first show and you won racing right off the bat. Mm-hmm. All the other racing, did that contribute to that?
Maybe. Just my dad was a drag racer, like I said, and I've been around every kind of racing there is. That's all I've ever known or all I've cared about, I guess. And be honest with you, like for instance, say a front end of a truck. I know there's guys build trucks and they build them and that's what they are. They don't change stuff. I'm always changing stuff, learning. That's why I've ripped shock tires off my trucks by learning, honestly. But say the front ends, like in arenas and all that, I take, the caster out of my truck so it turns sharper. And there's a lot of things that I do that I've learned because of, say, figure eight racing, like those cars, we have built in anti-dive in the front ends and, it's all about caster and camber and tow. And it probably has helped me, the engines, I've been building engines my whole life. So I've been around it. My dad built engines and I worked for a guy, Jim Lyons, Stitch's pulling team back in the day. That's what he built engines for everybody from drag racing to pull trucks, and then monster trucks come along and he was doing those too. Actually, I did Tony Farrell's Wild Thing truck. I did a cylinder heads when I worked for Jim for him. I remember meeting Tony for the first time. He come in town and he didn't live too far from me. I'd say an hour, 15 minutes anyway, but up in Indiana there. But I remember meeting these guys and it's pretty cool, man. Maybe I do this one day, I realized back then they was getting paid as much as trucks get paid now back then, 25 years ago, 30 years ago, whatever, however long it was. And, I just thought it was pretty cool. It really, I'm a racer at heart though. When, you just want to beat the next guy so bad, when I first come into this, that's what I did because I was still roofing full time. And, I had 87 guys roofing for me. And, at that time I was just a big babysitter. And I think that, I could go, didn't really want to do nothing, maybe one show a summer, one show a month during the summer. And then, I would run, I hope my battery don't go there, 15% here. But I don't want to, the wintertime, we didn't roof, unless something big, crazy something happened, we didn't roof in the cold. You don't want to put a roof on the cold. So I was gone in the winter, just having a good time, actually.
What else you got, Mason?
Oh, Let's see what we got here. We have one from Alan Weaver saying you should tell the Viper story.
Yeah. I've had a lot of different, like I said, I've raced a bunch of different stuff and I can crash with the best of them. So, yeah, I bought a Viper one time. I went to Fort Pierce, Florida there to Charlie's Dodge and bought me one of 18 of these Vipers, ACR cars. And Layla Ali left. We flew there together and she bought one and wrecked hers 3 blocks down the road, wadded it up, tore it all to crap. And at least I made mine home. And we ended up, I went to a Sportstrom Speedway where I raced some figure 8 and stuff. And we went, it's right in Jeffersonville, Indiana there. And they had a spectator drags. And so I got there and I said, I'm going to put my car in this thing. Everybody said, you ain't going to do it. And I remember pulling on a track and I just held it to the floor like 3rd gear and spun it around, big donut. About crashed the whole driver's side against the wall. You couldn't even put a piece of paper between us there. And it was just lucky I didn't smash it in the wall right there. And so anyway, they was like, oh, it's going to be crazy, crazy. He can't believe he's doing this. Well, I was thinking, to me, it's just a hot rod. It's not like I drove it to work. It's not like I had to have it. It was just another toy to me. So I got in that thing. You can probably look this up on YouTube. It is stupid, but I was racing. A buddy of mine had a Mustang. Actually, a buddy of mine's wife had a Mustang, and they put this other guy in it to drive it. And so I started off on the outside, and he was on the inside. That's the way we drew, And so we take off, and you're just making one lap around this circle track. Well, I took off, and I was way in front of him. If you watch the video on YouTube, when I go into 1, I was so far in front of him, I come into 2, and I went to put it in 3rd gear. And when I put it in the 3rd gear, I don't know if you're looking at the Viper, but there's literally an inch at most between the clutch and the brake pedal. And I went to push the clutch in, and I hit the brake. And so I never even put it in 3rd. I just pulled it back in 2nd because he was already coming up beside me. So we go into turn 3, and he was pushing real high. He was driving way up the corner, and I just never lifted till I come out of 4. And I was all the way crossed up. And as soon as I lifted, man, that thing bit and just jerked me to the right. See, I was getting ready to run in the side of the quarter panel of my buddy's wife's car. I never heard any of that. So I just lifted and then ended up into the wall. And then I went out there in the middle of the intersection, did a big donut, put on a show for the fans, And everybody thought, well, what's going to happen? I'm going to fix this car. I'm going to come back, But I never did. I fixed it and bought a twin turbo Viper and sold that one after I fixed it. And then, yeah, that was crazy, but wow, I made the crowd happy, that's for sure.
Well, so now a standard question we have on here every week for every guest is your favorite road story. Something that happened either traveling to a show or going out with everybody after a show or something that happens out, something that's not show related. Just one that comes to mind, just kind of a fun story that you just love to tell.
Oh, man.
Anybody get divorced or arrested?
What's that now?
I said any story that will not get anyone divorced or arrested.
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I never went out with nobody, so I don't ever go out. So, I got to get my rest. But, shoot, I don't even know, to be honest with you. I just know I put a new set of tires on this semi. I'm going to tell you a stupid, crazy story what happened to me. The show before this past one, I was on my way home, and it was about 2 a.m. Stevie was over, asleep in the front passenger side there. And I just had 2 brand new tires put on the front, all front end, all redone and everything. And we're going down the road, and all of a sudden the left tire picked a fine time to leave me, man. That thing just come off the wheel. And we're doing 82 mile an hour. And I was passing another semi. And it took everything I had, man, to keep that thing on the road. And it was a fiasco, man. It ripped. It ate the left front aluminum wheel off the truck. It tore the whole left side of the tractor up, messed the hood up a little, and brand new. Literally second show in a tire. And I'm like, I never felt nothing to hit, and I guess everybody knows you're driving half asleep in the middle of the night on the way home from a show, whatever you want to get home. And so anyway, yeah, that happened. But, yeah, I don't know. I can't even think of nothing really.
All right. Well, Mason, since his battery's going dead, he's got about 2 more, and then we'll let him go charge.
Yep, sounds like a plan. See what we got here. We got one from Zach LeBlanc asking, any plans of coming back to the dirt track in Charlotte to compete?
I'd love to. I'd have to talk, to the promoter about it, whatever. As long as I don't have a show of Hot Wheels, then yes, I would love to have both of my trucks there. I believe I can win that race. You got to have luck, that's for sure. And you can't make no driver error, but I believe that gearing and truck wise horsepower and all that, I think that, I'm pretty sure I could win that race, but I'd have to have some luck.
All right. And closing it off here with Chad Burdick's question. He was wondering what ever happened with River Rat.
My ex-wife got that truck in my divorce. I have no idea where it went, and don't care. But, maybe one day I'll run against it somewhere, but it's, yeah. Yep. Glad it's gone. Yeah.
Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on. I know you said your battery's about ready to die, but it was awesome having you on. It was good to talk to you. Haven't seen you in a long time. I can't wait to see you again, and hopefully see you at a show soon. But if people want to keep up with what's going on with the heavy hitter team or Hot Wheels, where can they follow you guys at?
I believe my girlfriend made a fan page, didn't you, babe? Yeah, of heavy hitter. Or was it mine? Yeah, heavy hitter monster truck racing. She did on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook at all. But I mean, if somebody sent something in there, she obviously could ask me or message it. I really just don't have time to do it. Just seems like that stuff's the Facebook stuff's a lot of drama and stuff, and then you feel bad too. You don't have time. I'm working all the time. To be honest, you're in the shop or roofing, or it's got so much going on. I just really don't have time to answer a bunch of questions all the time. Not that I don't want to, or I feel that I'm too good to do it. It's just I just really don't have time to do it. I'm just a one-man show. I work in the shop by myself, other than my girlfriend and some friends help me every now and again. For instance, like Stevie, he drives the truck, but, he don't work in the shop. So, I've had a couple of different crew guys come in and out, whatever, but they just, their dreams to drive, but their dreams not to earn it. They don't want to work hard and earn the seat time. It's crazy. Just for instance, I'll give you a crazy example. Like, everything I ever asked a crew guy to do, I've done 1,000,000 times, and I can still do it today. So, they want to know, well, why they got to do it. I'm like, well, yeah, you want to be a monster truck guy. That's what it takes. It takes a lot of hard work. And so some people's dream, they think it's their dream to do it till they get in a shop and realize that your 2 minutes of fame in a freestyle, it takes hours, just driving a sim up and down the road. I do all the driving semi even, I've had a CDL since we had to have them, I've just driven a truck my whole life too. So, I mean, I've never had a guy to hire and be able to drive the semi for me or anything. I've got to do it all. So that's the reason why I'm not on Facebook and Twitters and all that other stuff. So,
well, that's one of the first lessons that Jim Cretin taught me many years ago was a race is not won on Saturday night. It's won Monday through Friday.
It's true.
And so
that's a true story. And so I work hard at it, and it's what it takes. And, you got to be prepared. You always got to look ahead. I mean, for instance, people freak out when I have 10 third members ready to go or whatever. They don't understand it. I mean, I could go to a show and I've seen people not even have a spare. And I'm like, golly, how they get away with that, But, you never know when two trucks are going to break, at the same time, the same thing, So it's always building stuff and always being prepared.
Well, it's hard to find people like me, Derick. There's not a lot of me out there. I know.
That's true. That's true. That's for sure.
All right. Sure. Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, I appreciate you coming on. Give your girlfriend our best. And hope we'll see you guys at a show soon.
Thank you, buddy. See you guys. Thank you.
Yep. Oh, one last thing before you close off here. Brandon Johnson just wanted to tell you, or BJ Johnson will let you know, why are you so pretty?
BJ Johnson said it.
Yeah.
Yep, right here.
I mean, dang, that's great right there. I love it. Hey, at 51, man, it's hard. That's a good one though. Tell him I said, hey.
That's quite the compliment, BJ Johnson, to call you pretty, because he don't throw that around very easy.
Yeah, he's the man. I ain't seen him in a long time. I miss that guy. That's for sure. Now he's earned it. He earned his spot to drive. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But, all right, man. Well, thanks,
All
guys. I appreciate you having me. I'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Yeah, bye.
Peace.
All right, guys. Well, that's another good one. Great to see him. Like I said, unfortunately I don't talk to him near enough. But cool guy, hell of a driver, hell of a team owner. But Mason, I believe you got some sponsor stuff to attend to.
Yep. Of course, the Florida Hot Sauce Slingers own Spur Hot Sauce. They're a local-based Florida business where the Southwest meets the Southeast in a clash of hot and tangy flavors. Next time you want to spice up your next meal, think of Spur Hot Sauce. Make sure to give them a like and contact on Facebook or Instagram. And tell them MonsterCast sent you. Of course, we also have Monster Truckinator TV, the place to go on for all things new and old monster truck related. They actually, James just finished up with Bloomsburg and a lot of the recordings there. That's where I was watching a bunch of the recordings before I got on this episode here. So make sure to tune into his Facebook page and his YouTubes for a lot of that action.
Cool. All right.
Yep.
Well, like I said, I want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate it. This Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central, we are going to have Bigfoot's or former Bigfoot driver Larry Swim on. So that ought to be really cool. He did it for a long time. When Runte retired, he became the number one Bigfoot guy. So he ought to have some good stories for us. So check that out on Wednesday. I think Crush This has some cool episodes. I forgot who their guest was, but I know when I saw it, I thought, oh, that ought to be good. So apologize for that, but check it out. And yeah, I think that's all I got, Mason, don't I? Do I have anything else?
Pretty sure.
All right, let's go with that then. So, I'm supposed to do, you did intro. You did your big intro, so I have to do a big outro, don't I?
Yeah. See if you can top last time's.
Well, I don't even remember what I did last time. So let's just go with this concludes our broadcast evening. We'd like to thank everybody for watching. Bye.